Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And today we are back, and one of our favorite shows is back, SnowFall, here for its sixth and final season. Yes. Wow, what a ride it's been.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, it's sad to see it go, but I know they're gonna go out with a bang. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to get back into this one. But before we even start the conversation, I want everyone who is watching right now to click that subscribe button. Very important. Click the subscribe button and the like button. Help us grow and spread to a wider audience.
Please.
And also click that notification bell too. You might not want to miss nothing because we're about to get into it.
Right. I mean, so, if you just look at the Russell Hornsby interview we did, you don't want to miss anything here.
Facts. Exactly. So, you never know what we got up our sleeve. But if we go ahead and start talking about SnowFall, so we're going to talk about season 1 and then go into episode 1 and then episode 2.
Right.
And so episode 1 was titled Fallout. Now, where things left off last season, we know Franklin and Jerome and Louie had this family feud going on. They are seriously beefing. Mm-hmm. And we also know Franklin was in a very tight spot where all of his money was stolen. About what, 76 million?
73 million.
73 million.
Oh, 73 million, correct. Mm-hmm. And so he ended up, in a very desperate position and robbed Louie. So they are beefing for real. He even pulled a gun on her, I believe, the last episode. So it was getting serious. And so it opens up this season with Franklin. He's talking to Veronique how he still has not gotten his money back. And he doesn't really know what to do or where to turn. So he's trying to figure out a plan. He needs to find a bank to launder his money that he does have, And Veronique is kind of like, I don't really want to go back to that old lifestyle. I've been there, done that. I'm over it. I'm about to have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a difficult situation for him. You could tell he's desperate. Like, it's written all over his face. And he also needs to find, a way to distribute the product that he stole.
Well, you know what? My first thought for is V, and my boy better watch out because she might just.
Well, we knew she had another side to her. We kind of mentioned that last season, but and so we only seeing more and more now.
Right, she looks like she's through. I mean, she's willing to help, and she did help him. But when she had that nice looking dress on, heading toward, just about to get on the plane, and it was that look she gave him.
Mm-hmm.
It said to me, "You better watch out." Yeah, when she was going to, and I'm like, okay, you better watch out because your girl might just not come back.
It's true.
She's had enough of this, and she's had enough of, it's hard to read from her because while she does his bidding, she'll try to talk him off the cliff, but he remains where he is.
He's hard-headed.
She wants to keep her baby safe. Mm-hmm. She wants her to make peace with the family. But I follow the Twitter traffic about the show, and there's still some people who don't believe that she's on the up and up. They still think that she's shady. They're like, no, she's still a fan. Watch it, Franklin.
I mean, like I said, she has another side to her. She was definitely a scammer at some point in time.
She was, and she told him that.
Yeah, I mean, as we see, how do you say the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree,
right?
And and Franklin just seems to be missing that point about his lady, and he's not looking deep enough in V's eyes because when she said she had enough,
she mean it.
She means it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so like I mentioned about the product too, like that's another stressful point for Franklin. He has to go around and now talk to people about who's gonna sell for him. So he is really, making a line in the sand with him and Jerome and Louie, because now he's even going after Big D. And, Big D had already had a deal with Jerome and Louie. And now Franklin is coming in and undercutting them, basically offering a better price.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of makes things difficult. He's kind of like Big D is saying, I don't want to be in the middle of y'all. Of course, I want to keep more profits for myself. So I'm going to take the lower price, but I don't want no parts of y'all family feud.
Because first of all, Big D and Jerome are real cool.
Yes.
Too. So
well, at least they were.
I can see, yeah,
Right.
no, they still cool. They still cool. He just doesn't, business is business,
Yeah. I mean, as far as Jerome is concerned, though, Jerome is taking things so personal, which I understand, but you got to look at your old girl too, because all of this might not have been what it is if back in, what was it, season 5, you were trying to undercut Franklin, and so
she stole the plug.
She stole the plug.
She stole the plug.
Right. So all of this is you just have to kind of put your add it all up.
It's Franklin.
Not Franklin.
Jerome.
Jerome. Add it all up, because if it's looking bad for you and family, it might have something that, Franklin might be right about your girl.
Oh, he said as much when we start talking about episode 2.
Yeah.
But the thing is this. Remember, we had Angela Lewis, aka Aunt Louie, on the show, and during that time, I was like, I think Aunt Louie can run the business. Remember, we said that we hyped her up and everything, because she does have the smarts to run the business.
No, she does.
But at the time, I had no idea she was going to steal the plug from Franklin.
Right.
I was like, oh wow.
I thought she was, like you said, I thought she was smart. I thought she was, cunning enough to run a drug business, but I didn't know that she took family as, the way she did. She doesn't give a damn about family.
She don't give a damn about Franklin.
Well, more so, yeah. Well, yeah, she doesn't give a damn. And then putting Jerome, in the middle between a rock and a hard place, because now he has to try to decide between his family and his lady. So I don't know.
Right. Yeah, and it's kind of like they playing tit for tat now, because Franklin has stepped it up a level. He's gone to Kane and ratted them out, and so he's really putting them in the line of fire here. I mean, it's a lot of that going on. Jerome is really Franklin is telling, Kane and them the best way to mess up Franklin and Louie's business is to buy from me, basically. So he's trying to replace himself with all of their distributors. And, once the deal goes down, so we know Black Diamond and Dallas are kind of like Franklin's couriers. And Franklin doesn't see how his nonsense is really screwing up everybody's life, because now here Diamond and Dallas are making a drop, and as they're leaving, Buckley pulls them over and out pops Jerome, and he really put it down on Diamond. I could not believe how far he went. And this is because remember last season I was saying Jerome had a lot of pent-up aggression that he wasn't letting out, and he kind of had it bottled for a long time, but he was always kind of willing to take the passive approach. Not this time. He let it all out on Black Diamond. I really couldn't believe that. It seemed like a real off the path for his character, I would say.
Well, remember he killed Khadijah.
He
did.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But he always had issues with Black Diamond and them because he blamed them for shooting Louie. And I felt bad for Black Diamond.
I was saying, coming from the perspective of beating a woman down like that.
Exactly. That's why. But the thing is, he killed Khadijah and stuff. I mean,
not with his bare hands.
That was horrible. That was horrible. That what he did to Black Diamond.
But
and I felt bad.
The problem with that is, again, with Franklin, you need more heavyweight. You got these two young ladies running, running back for you, got your 6 and
who toting children.
And have children.
Yes.
Absolutely. And that environment doesn't respect women in that regard. They look at you and laugh and say, you got these two sisters holding down your 6. No, man, you got to get some heavy weight, because I think if he had some brothers up in there, that with Jerome might have been a different story. You know, I know, no, it's not to say that Jerome would not have come out just firing, you know, but I don't think it would have ended with, you know, you losing Black Diamond. That was a bad way for her to go. And
it really was.
Particularly when she didn't have the information that he asked for, and he had to kill her to find that out.
Right. But he did eventually realize that, like, oh, maybe she didn't really know. But you know, the fact that, you know, they're really both very stubborn on both ends, because like there was a phone call that occurred previously where, you know, Jerome was like, just give us our money back. And, you know, they're not willing to yield to one another. And so it's really, this family feud is jacking stuff up. And so Louie even kind of confessed to Teddy, like, Franklin stole our money. That's when I started getting worried for Franklin. Yeah. I was like, well, we know Teddy he don't play. He a little off the hinges.
But he looked at them like, okay, so that he thought it might be strategic. Like, you know, even episode 2, Cissy, when she said to Franklin about, that's what he wants. Like, they want us to kill each other. Yes. And so he was like, oh, I might not even have to get my hands dirty because the family is feuding. They might kill each other.
And well, he said something to the effect to Aunt Louie when he right. Well, even Aunt Louie when he asked, he said when she told him, and he was like, so what are y'all gonna do?
What y'all gonna do?
And the question is, you know, I'm thinking that he was assuming that is Teddy. Teddy was assuming that they may just take out Franklin.
Exactly. But he must still trust them to some extent because, you know, Teddy gave Louie 300 bricks on consignment. So I'm like, that's not anything to be taken lightly. Like, he must still have some, you know.
Yeah, because they've been doing business all that time. And in business is business. He still got to move his weight.
I get ready to say, and Teddy is not in the greatest position right now to make any kinds of determinations what he's going to do.
Teddy out here bootlicking. He ready to get back in the CIA.
Right. And he knows that it's by any means necessary. So if he's got to give up the brick on consignment, he'll do it, you know?
Because the situation with Avi, too, you know, because Avi's people, you know, carried him, too. So, you know, he's definitely on the outs and everything. He was pressed to find his
Parissa
thing, his associate, as he calls her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing is that, you know, also, or what do you call Gustavo, he's not even really down with Teddy no more, and Teddy don't even really like.
I'm nervous for Oso. I'm nervous for him because especially when he told him that he'd been out all night. And he was at the hospital. And Teddy was like, what hospital? And I said, you gotta definitely.
I don't know if he's on to him yet, but he's definitely suspicious.
No, I think he is on to him. I think he's playing the proper game of wait and see, because, you know, he has to balance two sides. He has to balance Teddy, and he has to balance Franklin. And because he's thrown in the middle. You know, also is more wanting to get out of the game than he is trying to deal with one side or the other. But he also knows that diplomacy here and his sense of diplomacy is keeping his mouth shut and listening. And that's the best thing he can do at this point. Now, you know, we see in episode 2, he gives Franklin that image of the man that Reuben. And, you know, and Franklin, because going back when Cissy set up the meeting with Reuben and Franklin, I was thinking to myself, was that a smart thing to do? You know, and how much did Franklin know about Reuben? Other than
I think that Cissy's nervous for this because she thinks that Franklin is getting his stuff back. He's trying to put everything on track in the drug business. And she's like, hold up, don't take your eye off the prize. We trying to take them down, not make things right, you know. And I think she talked to him like, this is your American dream, but don't fall for the trap. Like, they are still not giving a damn about you or me. They killed your father. Like,
right.
Come on now.
Reuben's got to go.
I don't trust Reuben either.
Yeah, he's got to go.
You know, that's same as CIA. Listen.
Yeah, it's that same old mess.
It's the same thing. So I don't trust him either.
No.
You know, they don't care about Franklin or Cissy either. the thing I was gonna say about also Gustavo, the thing that he has going on his side is that he has a poker face. So
Right.
you never see where that I says, and that's gonna serve him well when dealing with somebody like Teddy, because you can't give him an inch because he's so perceptive.
All right.
But do you guys fear for him as well when dealing with Tony? Because Tony kind of pressed him like, our people need something, take us down to the border to see the tunnel or whatever. And Tony kind of gave me the sense that although he wants information and he's trying to be somewhat helpful to Gustavo by, providing a alibi or whatever at the hospital, I'm like, I still am a little suspicious of the Tony dude too.
Oh, I'm a
the
lot
DA?
Yes. I'm a lot of suspicious of him.
Don't trust none of them. Don't trust. He's trying to get information from Gustavo because remember, Gustavo killed his agent.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, you can't trust him either. But I am worried that Teddy is on him. If he's not, he might be because he's asking these questions and where were you and this and the other, and then
Look, it might be another white boy Rick situation with Gustavo. They set, just like white boy Rick, he was set up completely by, by your government.
Yeah, and he was snitching.
And he was snitching. And so Gustavo also has to watch himself. He's got to watch his back because right now he's too much he's in a situation right now that it's going to take a miracle or act of God to get out of, because
I don't think I feel my prediction. I don't think Gustavo will make it out of this.
I don't think so either, because he got it coming from every angle. He got it coming from Teddy. He got it coming from Tony. And he's got it coming from Ruben, because now Ruben has been authorized to surveil him.
Yeah.
Yes. I think if anybody, it could be anybody that kills him, but I think it's gonna be Teddy because of the betrayal. And everything.
And particularly locking up his girl, and and that's not going to work. That's not going to work well. I mean, in terms of Ruben, that's why I said Ruben got to go, and Ruben's got to go fast, because between Ruben and Tony, those are two angles you just really can't play with. And I don't know what else he can do.
Listen, I want Teddy to go. And we'll see how this ends in the long run if Teddy is the one that he dies. But if
it's anything like real life, Teddy probably gonna get away.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
I don't want him to get killed. I want the government to find out who Teddy really is. I want.
They know who he is.
Well, they know. No, I take that back. I know they know who he is, but I want somehow for Teddy to get just set up. I don't know how it's going to happen. One thing that we didn't talk about the meeting with.
We can talk about it.
Okay, with Franklin and V's mom.
Yes.
Now
I love that scene because Mom is fly. She's very.
I'm kind of liking Mom.
She's very cultured. She knows several languages.
And I'm confident that she can probably get the money back.
This is my point. This is my point I was trying to make, because Franklin is on hinges right now, and something's got to calm him down, because he's not thinking about family or anything like that. And so I think she can be the ticket to get that money back, because she's already told him. She already told him that your money, that's when they took your money, it wasn't just one person. She said that was too big a take for one person to do. It had to have somebody behind it. And so she's schooling Franklin, but I'm just hoping that Franklin holds on long enough to understand.
I think he was impressed with her.
Well, I thought he was, but Franklin can be a little snide sometimes.
Yeah, he didn't trust her because I think initially because all the things
because of what she did.
She's and she was a scammer, so he was right not to trust her. But I think he was legitimately impressed that she could do what needs to be done. She was asking all the right questions. She told him that it was somebody else. He had to have help. They had to impersonate you. Said they had to go to Panama.
Yep.
I was like, okay, she a big time scammer.
Oh no, she knows what I say trust but verify.
Right.
Don't piss her off, because she has the ability to be, that help, that second hand or third hand that you need, because without her, it's not going to happen, really.
So since Veronique's mom, Cassandra, is so savvy with, fooling the governments or whatever, do you think that she could be a part of the setup of Teddy? Is that what you were getting at, Ron?
Yes. That was my tie-in. If it works, if they work it right, she can set Teddy up.
I would love to
Teddy is not Teflon in this situation because the agency really doesn't like him.
Right.
They're just dealing with him.
He's not back in, right?
He's not back in yet. So, and even, I'm not even sure if they'll let him back in. I think they're just playing him.
Yeah, I think they just dangling the meat.
Well, using him.
Right.
Using
him.
Because he still has contacts and everything like that. And so they just using him.
That's all they're doing. And I think that with the help of V's mom, she can do some dangerous things to Teddy without shooting him.
I think so too. I think so too. It was funny when she was playing the game, with the game and stuff. As soon as he said it was 73 million, she cashed out quick too. Like,
yep.
I gotta go. Yes, what I would have done too. Like,
oh my God, 73 million. I mean, and then she wanted what, 20%? I think
she was tripping with that. Like,
big time.
Yeah, but I like 10%. Okay.
Yeah, and 10% is a heck of a lot of money.
It is, but they do still need to be careful though, because they're still talking about Avi's shipment of guns and stuff, and Ruben wants dibs on them, and then Teddy also wants dibs on them. So it seems like there's still this thing going on where there's a battle over resources, and then there's this thing going on behind the scenes with the DEA as well. So it's like a lot of a crossover between the groups, and I'm just like, I hope that the people that we love in this show make it out, but it's looking shaky.
It's looking shaky. Like I mean, I'm worried for everybody. I'm worried for Cissy. I'm wondering. My son and I was talking about that with even Franklin. Like, will Franklin make it out alive? Now I'm like, now if they stick to the story and the real life, then he'll probably end up in jail. But if they go in another direction, he can possibly die.
Yeah.
Well, should Franklin be worried that Ruben has been recording his relationship with Teddy?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes. I figured as much, because I'm like, I know Ruben is kind of savvy, and they're on Ruben is on opposing teams to what Teddy is on.
Yeah,
but Teddy knows how to get his hands on stuff too. So I'm like, I don't know if the recording was the best idea, but of course, Franklin is desperate to get Teddy, so he's making some moves that I'm not too sure of.
Yeah,
I'm worried about Cissy too, because what she said to Franklin was correct. She was preaching the word. She was preaching the word.
Definitely.
But she wants revenge so bad. I'm so nervous that, will she get killed in the process? Will Teddy come for her? Because I did not see. I saw some of the previews and everything, but my son was saying he saw in the preview, and that Franklin was calling from the house, somebody's house, calling Teddy, and was like, "Guess where I'm at?" And house was burning in the background. He was like, "I think Franklin was at Teddy's father's house."
Remember he put the dude up to go and find that information out.
He did. He asked for the contact. So I'm just like, so once you start going there, that's tit for tat.
Yeah.
And so that makes me worried for Cissy, V, who's pregnant, anybody. I mean,
and Franklin has too many vulnerabilities too, and Teddy knows that. And so, we're talking about V, we're talking about his mom, and so when you're talking about who's going to make it out, it looks like it'll be V and her mom and the baby. That's who I see making it out.
Yeah, because I don't think what's it called, and then we're gonna make it either. Jerome and Louie.
Yeah.
No, I don't think.
Did you hear what the visit with Scully went down? Scully was like,
I was going to say that.
The city is going to be up against y'all behind this Kane situation.
Yes.
And he's like, it's not the time to be feuding with family when you got somebody like Kane beefing with you. So
this how you know that Louie is on some BS too, because once Scully was talking to him about the family being together and like, and you know, he said, fix it, fix the stuff with the family. Yeah. He gave them a token about, you know, he gave what's the little thing that he gave them as a token and everything. You see, when they were walking to the car, Louie dropped hers. So I was like, to me, that symbolized that she was like, because Jerome took it, held on to it. That symbolized to me that she like.
Well, she doesn't respect.
She don't respect. She didn't respect that.
Yeah.
No. She don't respect family. She's not willing to work it out.
And my thought, did Scully see that? Because you know, Scully's on this new spiritual awareness kind of thing trip. And you know, and he was
outside. So,
well, I don't know. You know, sometimes you're looking outside just to see. You know, my thought.
It was disrespectful.
It was
disrespectful, and it let me know that she ain't really. She's not focused on reconciling or anything. She wasn't really hearing what he's trying to say. When she dropped that, I was like, okay, she on some BS.
Some BS, yes.
And Jerome has got to take responsibility and kind of rein that in, because she can mess it up for him, you know, because he does exactly what he follows her. And, you know, love is one thing, bro, but you got to understand when she's wrong. You know, you got to mend that fence between you and the family.
But go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, let's talk about the scene where it actually went down, where you know Cissy had been urging Jerome to go and make things right with Franklin. You know, Scully even mentioned as much as well. So Jerome is actually more open to trying to make peace. So Jerome actually goes and sits down with Franklin, and he even spilled his guts about, you know, how he moved to LA and he helped raise Franklin up. And he's like, you know, where did I go wrong? I feel like it's my fault that you turned out the way you did. But, you know, Franklin really pops off too. And he's like, I'm the reason you got everything you got. Like, he's going in.
That cynical attitude that Franklin shows up with. I mean, Jerome was pouring his heart out. If at any time you wanted to, you would listen to Jerome, it was at that point in time. He was really trying to tell you how sorry he is about the way you turned out. And truth be told, if he were a little more responsible in your life in a younger age, you may not be the way you are now. And he was really trying to tell you that. And you pop off with some smart ass mouth. And here we go.
Well, Jerome went off when he started talking about Louie. When he said, it's because of the trick that you went, is because, you know, as soon as he said something about Louie, Jerome snapped.
But that's where he's got to kind of roll back and understand, you know what you got. You know, these brothers like that, they may not want you talking about the girl, their lady, but they know what they got. Jerome knows what he has. You know, he's shown that in previous episodes. You know, he knows what he has in Louie. But somehow you got to rein her in because she's dangerous.
But see, Louie is even getting worse now because she's actually feeding the fire, because she knows that Jerome will go to bat for her.
Right.
But then she, you know, puts this little gem in his ear and is like, well, I never told you this, but Franklin pulled the gun on me too.
Yeah.
And so now the fact that Franklin has also pulled a gun on Jerome, he's gonna be like, oh, okay, this guy is really taking it too far now. And Louie is only throwing gasoline on the flames.
That's what got Black Diamond killed too.
Yeah.
Because he was angry once she said, you know, if Barkley wasn't there, I probably would have been dead. She put the battery in his back.
Yep.
And so that's why, you know, Black Diamond got what she got. And, you know, as I said earlier, I felt bad that Black Diamond got killed in SnowFall. But on BMF, as Mabel, she got the whooping that I want Miss Lucille to give her.
That is
I
bad.
agree. I agree on the BMF side.
That is so bad. That is so bad, Tiff.
Right. I mean, listen, I feel bad now on SnowFall. My heart went out to her. But for what she did with Charles, I put Miss Lucille.
But hey,
right.
talk about a whooping. Franklin took those punches from my boy Jerome like a G, because he got hit twice and it looked like he was just, you want to do it again? And he jumps up with the gun. Now he's all in public with a gun to another black man's head. Of course, they're two black men, so it really doesn't matter that much. It'll probably never hit the papers or the police. But, you know, he gets in his car and he's beating up his steering wheel because
slipping in the darkness, huh?
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. War.
Uh-huh.
Yep. That's what he's doing.
Well, both of them were emotional because you can see that that Jerome, like even as angry as he was about to cry, and Franklin was fighting back tears. Even when he got in the car, he was fighting back tears. So the fact, I just think that both of them were overcome with emotion, that, you know, as close as they all were, that the disintegration of their family.
Yeah, when you get to a point that you put a gun in a man's face,
the family.
Yeah, there's no coming back from that. And you know, that's as high as you want to get without pulling the trigger.
Right.
Because the next time
but he
will.
put hands on him, so you know.
Well, even that, I mean, like I said, he, you know, if he had really hurt him with that, those were two good punches, I thought, at the table, but it didn't really seem to phase Franklin. You know, Franklin took one side and then the other.
He probably hurt. He just ain't, you know.
Well, like I said, he took it like a G. I'm gonna tell you, you know.
He did take it like a G.
So I'm like, okay, but when you get up and put a gun in a man's face, particularly your family, that's about it. I don't know how much else you can do. And it startled the hell out of Jerome. Jerome was frozen in that seat because he realized it was only an inch of his life that was being that caused, you know, that was being saved, basically. I mean, another inch pulling that trigger, you're done.
I don't know how much he's changed, because you know, when you think about all the seasons, season one, and you know, when he was new to the game, and remember when season one, when Franklin got jumped and they took his little money and all this stuff, you know, and then the evolution, like he killed Andre. He killed his best friend Rob last season and stuff. Like, he has really become like ruthless and stuff. I mean, you know, so I think the realization of that, the way Jerome looked at him, like, wow, like you really would probably pull the trigger and kill your uncle.
You don't take $73 million from a man, and you know, and not to expect.
Well, Jerome didn't do that.
No. Jerome.
You just speaking to the state of mind that Franklin.
Right. I'm just speaking to his state of mind. I mean, because like he said, Franklin wanted to step out. He wanted to raise his family, and $73 million is a hell of a lot of money to do some good raising. And when that's just wiped out clean.
Oh, I would have been hot too.
So Franklin is struggling. He's struggling even more now because, you know, now that Black Diamond's dead, Dallas wants out. She's not. So who's going to run his drugs? You know, they said that Leon and Wanda went out to Africa, so he ain't got Leon. He really doesn't have anybody to help him on his business side, you know, besides V and her mom. So I'm like, Franklin, he gonna have to find a way to make peace or to partner up.
Well, he has
now, now I don't know if he's gonna do it, but Kane told him, you better pick your side and make it clear where you stand, because otherwise I'm coming for you too if you siding with Louie and Jerome. So could you know, Frank, he already made the pitch to Kane's guys saying, you know, let me be a distro or whatever. You think he's gonna go down with that, knowing how Kane feels?
I don't know how he can trust Kane. To be perfectly honest with you, now Kane is in a situation, you know, he wants to retaliate on he being shot. I got it, but it's a toss up to me. Kane, Jerome, to me, it would be better. You'd be better served if you make amends to Jerome and give him back what you stole from him, and see if y'all can't work something out. Now I know
that's the logical thing.
Well, I gotta say it's a pie in the sky kind of attitude, and I know it wouldn't happen in real life, but at some point, some way, y'all got to figure this out.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they got up their sleeve for us this season, because it's a lot. I still want to know what happened to Peaches. That's a question that needs answers. You know, I want to see how things are going to go down between Franklin and family. I hope that they can come to some sort of resolution. You know, maybe they'll eventually have a common enemy, and maybe that'll bring them together. I don't know.
Well, they do have common enemies. They just haven't sat down and thought about it long enough to know who they are. They're right in front of them.
Well, that's true.
So it's just the two of them, and being so hot. When you got two hot-headed individuals, And I thought real quick, I thought when Cissy set up that appointment, I thought she would go with them because she needs a mediator between the two of them, and she would be a great mediator. Your brother, and that's my son. I thought she would have been there with them to kind of mediate that situation, not send Jerome by himself, a hothead with another hothead.
Yeah, she definitely should have been there to keep things level.
Exactly.
I guess she thought that they were going to have a man-to-man discussion, but
they did have a man-to-man
past that. Yeah,
they did have a few punches thrown and a gun drawn. Yeah, that's a man-to-man discussion.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing all that's going on. I think several people can get the hands this episode. I'm giving Franklin the hands. Yeah. I'm giving Louie the hands. Louie doing instigating. I'm giving Jerome the hands for
Jerome the hands for the hands on a woman. Yeah.
I said Black Diamond. Yeah. Don't put your hands on the women.
Right.
Buckley, I'm giving him the hands too.
He stays
for being in the middle, meddling. You ain't even on the force no more.
Oh, he's gonna have to go too, because the thing is, not only is he a fiend, he's still pining for Louie.
Yeah.
So Jerome always got to watch him too. Yeah, you need to watch him.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna put V on the hands list too, and I'm gonna tell you why. The last thing she wanted to do was start laundering money again, and then she acquiesced and told Franklin she'd do it this last time. But that it's always that last time that gets you caught up. And
so you mad at her for endangering the baby?
Yeah, I am. Because you should have stuck to your guns.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, you should have stuck to your guns.
Okay, Tiff, you got anybody to add to the list?
No, I think everybody. Shoot, Teddy's always on my list.
Right.
I want to see some justice. I want to see something happen with Teddy this season, but I don't know if that's gonna happen or not.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to wait and see. From the previews, it looks like it's gonna be really good, and we know it's the final season, so we know that they gotta, they can't do us like what is the Game of Thrones? They can't let us go down.
Out with do not Game of Thrones us. Not Game of Thrones us. Yeah. We need to have an epic ending.
Exactly.
Epic.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, you guys want to add anything else before we close out?
Nope, I'm good.
I was just gonna remind the audience that we had, a few cast members from SnowFall on our show before. As we mentioned, Angela Lewis, aka Aunt Louie. We had Gail Bean recently. We talked about P-Valley, but we also talked about SnowFall. And we had Scully, DeAndre Bond. So, check out those interviews on our playlist.
Absolutely. Check out the interviews playlist. Make sure you are subscribed, like the video, click the notification bell, do all of that. And while you're at it, drop down in the comment section. Let us know your thoughts about these first 2 episodes of season 6, and give us your predictions for the remainder of the season. Looking forward to reading what you guys thought about these 2. Be sure to also follow us on all of our social media platforms, on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, we're everywhere. So follow us there as well to keep up with all we have going on. And I think we've probably gotten it all out by now. So on that note, we are going to call it a night, and we'll be back next week for episode 3. Night.
I need all the wins. Yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call and quits. Yeah.